With over 100 police officers involved, 7 jewelry thieves, and priced diamonds that were second in value only to the crown jewels, the Millennium Dome raid was a classic game of cat and mouse. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the most insane diamond heist in history.
Welcome to another episode of the Untold Tales of Africa.
It all began in the summer of 2000 when the Metropolitan Police Flying Squad received a tip from an informant about a major armed robbery plot. No one knew where the robbery would take place, but the identities of some of the robbers were already known. They were usual suspects who played major roles in several unsuccessful armed vehicle robberies. And so the Metropolitan Police, led by Detective Superintendent John Shatford, put the known members of the gang under constant surveillance. It was then that the police knew the venue of the robbery, the Millennium Dome in Greenwich. However, the target of the robbery was still unknown. One fateful day on September 1st of 2000, as the Metropolitan Police carried out surveillance of the 3 suspects, they noticed that the 3 suspects were William Cockram, Raymond Beston, and Aldo Cariochi, who were carrying out their own surveillance of the dome. The police followed Cockram, who headed straight for the money zone in the dome. Cockram also entered the De Beers Millennium Diamond exhibit and even spent some time filming the vault with a camcorder. But unknown to him, he was actually being watched. He met up with 2 of the gang members and took a video of the river and even the jet boat. As weeks went on, the police and the robbers continued their surveillance, and the police were able to identify more members of the robbery gang, who were convicted felons, but none of the robbers were any wiser. As the police watched them, the suspects continued their visits to the dome and it became more frequent. The robbers were seen testing a speedboat in a harbor in Kent, which the police uncovered would be their getaway ride. By early October, the police had more clues as they identified a venue that was linked to the robbery. It was the old courtyard in White Hart Road, Plumstead, and the robbers would use it to house a yellow JCB mechanical digger, which they presumed would play a major role in the robbery. At this time, the police did not know when the attack on the dome would take place or how it would happen, but they kept the surveillance. On a few occasions, it seemed as if the gang was ready to carry out their actions, as they were seen towing a speedboat to Greenwich and placing it in the river opposite the dome on 3 separate days, but their plans never materialized. As the police officers began to analyze the robbers' actions, they realized that the first aborted attempt was caused by a malfunctioning of the speedboat, which was a getaway ride. The second aborted attempt was cancelled after the gang discovered that the tide was too low to ensure a safe getaway. All these activities gave the police a clue that the robbery was about to take place, but something was causing a delay. After some investigations, it was discovered that the time and the days of the aborted attempts, one thing was in common: the high tide. The police found out that the days that the robbery was aborted, the tide was at its highest possible level, so the police began to analyze the patterns of the tide to predict the possible day of the robbery. With all these aborted attempts, the flying squad prepared precautions of their own. After they unraveled the plans of the robbers to steal the De Beers Millennium Diamonds, which included 11 rare blue stones and the Millennium Star Diamond, which was a flawless 203-carat gem with an estimated worth of $750 million, it was considered one of the most perfect gems in the world. It was mined in Zaire in 1990 and was purchased by De Beers not long after. The stakes were high. The robbers had their plans laid out to every last detail, but the one thing that they weren't prepared for was that the cat was already out of the bag. And so, the flying squad already replaced the real diamonds with crystals that were the same shape and size of the genuine diamonds, and they had the real stones safely hidden away. On the day of the robbery, the 7th of November 2000, around 9:30 a.m., Operation Michigan was put in motion. About 200 police officers were involved in the operation. 60 armed flying squad officers were stationed around the Thames, and about 20 of them were on the river itself in order to hinder escape attempts. The dome CCTV room was used as a control room, and a dummy wall was positioned to hide the specialist firearms officers. Every corner was covered, and every patron of the dome was a surveillance officer with concealed guns. Before the robbery, 4 gang members were spotted in a JCB earth digger, and they were all wearing body armor and gas masks. They were armed with smoke bombs, sledgehammers, and nail guns. As soon as their plan was set into motion, the gang used the digger to break the perimeter fence, which crashed into the side of the wall of the dome that reached the money zone, which is where the diamonds were kept. Cariochi threw smoke bombs while Cockram attempted to break the glass. Since they had done their homework, they knew that the bomb-proof glass would withstand a force of 60-ton ram aid. So instead of forcing it open, they weakened the glass with 3 shots from a powerful nail gun, and then Robert Adams used a sledgehammer to break the weakened glass. Their plan was going smoothly. too smooth and they were inches away from the diamonds, the fake ones anyway, before the police ambushed the 4 gang members. As the 4 men were being arrested, another gang member named Kenneth Meredith was arrested in the getaway speedboat. Another was arrested for monitoring the police radio frequencies, and Terry Millman was arrested in the van. In one big swoop, without firing any weapons, all the suspects had been detained and arrested. They had no clue that they had been under months of surveillance. The largest robbery in history began even before it started, and the real diamonds were far away from their sticky fingers. The gang faced a trial a year later on 8th November of 2001. Only 6 members of the gang were sentenced as Terry Millman had died of cancer. After 3 months of trial, the majority of the jury had found the robbers guilty, and Cochran and Besson, who were the leaders of the gang, were sentenced to 18 years in prison, while Kiriochi and Adams were sentenced to 15 years. Lee Wenman was jailed for 9 years for masterminding the robbery, and Meredith, the boat driver, got 5 years since he had no prior criminal records and claimed that he was coerced by Millman to join the heist. And that is the story of the Millennium Star Diamond and how it was almost stolen. It would always be remembered in history as one of the largest robberies that was over before it even began. And with that, I've come to the end of this video. For more interesting videos like this, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please turn on the bell notification so you never miss another upload. Thank you for watching. My name is Asher, and I'll see you in the next video.